Alrighty, good afternoon, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Kim back here once again. I'm here to give you guys an update on what's going on across the natural state at this current point. So we're just waiting for some people to come in, getting everybody into this live stream so everybody can kind of get the information on what's going on at this point here. So we've got a lot to talk about. We got a severe threat tonight, and then we got a severe threat for tomorrow here. The enhanced risk still remains in effect across the natural state here, okay? But this is what we got going on radar right now. Not much on the radar at this point across northern Arkansas here. We've got some thunderstorms up there in northwestern Arkansas near the Bella Vista area right now, near Fayetteville at this point. But none of these storms are expected to go severe at this current time here, okay? So as said before, this is what we're going to be watching as they push off towards the north and east here, and then we're going to have more storms that's going to be coming in as we get towards the overnight hours here. So let's go ahead and talk about that real quickly. Let's switch this back over to our risk for today here. As you guys know, we have the slight risk over there in western Arkansas for today, mainly throughout the overnight hours tonight into the early part of your Thursday morning here. Timing right now looks to be after midnight at this point, okay? So that's the number one thing I want to stress to you guys. It's going to be yet another overnight event for us here in the natural state if you go with this particular threat for today. And then tomorrow's threat is going to be during the afternoon into the evening here, okay? So marginal risk goes all the way to near Conway to Mount Home at this point, and then you have a slight risk over there from just southwest of Bentonville down to Fort Smith down towards Mena at this current point here. The main hazards look to be a tornado or two, damaging winds, large hail, and the potential flash flooding will be on the table as we get towards late tonight in the early part of your tomorrow morning here, okay? So while we're talking about this, I'm going to go ahead and get Futurecast up and ready to go so that way we can talk about it as well here, okay? So before, this is for today. Now for the timing wise, let me go back here. So that was the damaging wind threat for today, okay? There's a large hail, and then there's the tornado threat. That goes from Fayetteville to Clarksville down towards Mena, down towards Dirks at this point. Very low tornado threat at this time here, but we're going to watch it closely, okay? These storms coming out of Oklahoma, they're going to be packing a punch. So if any warnings go out across western Arkansas tonight, we'll let you guys know. We'll be here. We'll be on live throughout the overnight hours here, okay? But here's the timing-wise for that, okay? So the line kind of divides just south of Fort Smith, south to Clarksville at this point. If you're north of that line, we're talking 12 to 7 a.m. If you're down south of that line, we're talking 2 a.m. to 7 o'clock, because there's some people, the guys that wants to split up the lines and have two line segments going into western Arkansas, one a little bit faster than the other, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. That's timing for tonight into the first part of your tomorrow morning here, okay? Now, this is the risk for tomorrow. Okay, the severe weather threat for tomorrow, the enhanced risk still remains in effect across much of Arkansas here. There is some computer model disagreement on what to expect as we get towards tomorrow. I'm going to go over that here in just a little bit with our Futurecast, but this is the enhanced risk for tomorrow here. So area-wide timing 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I want to stress, because I know everybody's kind of tuning in and wondering what the timing is going to be for tomorrow. There is significant uncertainty on the timing for tomorrow, because there could be multiple rounds of severe weather coming in for tomorrow. So this is why I'm telling everybody now, have a plan ready to go, be ready regardless of what that timing is, from first thing tomorrow morning until these storms leave out tomorrow evening, okay? Because some areas are going to experience multiple rounds of thunderstorms as we get towards tomorrow. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's just significant uncertainty on the overall timing at this point. But the biggest thing I want to tell you guys is to have a plan ready to go no matter where you are, because if you want to be technical, everybody's at risk for severe weather, no matter where you are. Even if you're in Benton County in the marginal risk, or you're in Union County in the enhanced risk, everybody's at risk for seeing the potential of seeing severe weather for tomorrow, okay? So have that plan ready to go regardless of the timing. Okay, no matter where you are in the natural state, have a plan ready to go for tomorrow. Main hazards, a couple of tornadoes will be possible, damaging winds, hail, and also that flash flooding potential, because remember what I said, these thunderstorms are going to be coming in different rounds. So you will have that flash flooding potential as well for tomorrow. Remember, turn around and do not drown whenever you're dealing with a flash flooding across the board here. Now, I want to talk about this because this is going to be the greatest risk for us here in the natural state. It's going to be the damaging wind potential here. And I know the damaging wind potential kind of gets left behind because it's not as important as a tornado, which it actually is, because damaging winds can cause just as much damage as a weak tornado, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. There's going to be some differences with computer model guidance here in terms of which mode we're going to be dealing with, but damaging winds the greatest threat, tornadoes second, and then the large hail and the flooding threat will be there as well. Elizabeth, I did see that. Yes, there is some potential of that early morning storms could change the threat for tomorrow here, but I want to stress caution on those morning storms. All it takes is those storms to miss us to the north, and we'll be back in play, okay? There's going to be a lot of things that need to come together for tomorrow here. What's going to happen is, first thing in the morning, wherever those thunderstorms are, south of those thunderstorms, if you're not seeing anything first thing in the morning, you're going to have that threat for severe weather. And even if you do see morning thunderstorms, you will have an afternoon threat that you would have to contend with as well. So just kind of keep that in mind across the board here as well. I'm going to show you guys that Futurecast here in just a bit. But this is the damaging wind threat for tomorrow here. Now, here's the tornado threat for tomorrow as well. Now, there's been some shifts with the tornado threat. Earlier, when I looked at it at midnight, the tornado threat was kind of limited to I-30. Now it's kind of spread out to kind of include much of central over there towards Interstate 40 East, down towards I-30. So it was kind of limited at that point, but now it has been spread out. Keep in mind, just because you're not in the yellow area does not mean you will not see severe weather, okay? I want to stress that so much. Just because you're not in the biggest risk doesn't mean you're not going to see severe weather across the board tomorrow, okay? Keep that in mind. Yes, I do see the morning thunderstorms. Yes, there is potential of this actually not happening, but I'd rather for you guys to be prepared than to bank on those morning storms, because it's a 50-50 shot. You either get them and it completely wipes your environment out, or you don't get them and then you get the severe threat. So it's a back and forth right now. It's a 50-50 shot with that. But do not let your guard down just because you're in the green area, very low risk, or in the yellow area, or this is not a medium or a high risk area, okay? Do not let your guard down at this point, okay? I want to stress that at this time here, okay? We'll make sure you guys are covered. We'll be here for tomorrow here. And also, to kind of talk about the large hail threat, pretty widespread across the board as we get towards tomorrow here, okay? So give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and get the Futurecast up for you guys here, and then I'm going to answer some questions, because I know a lot of people have been asking about what's going to be happening as we get towards tomorrow here, okay? So I'm going to back this up. We're going to switch this over, and we're going to show you guys the Futurecast here in just a second, all right? So give me 1 second. I'm going to switch this over, and here's the Futurecast run for tomorrow here, okay? So give me 1 second. Make this a little easier for everybody to see, and then we're going to talk about it, all right? So there is a lot of storms that's going to come through tomorrow, right around that lunch time frame, okay? So this is the Futurecast right now. Basically, there's not much going on at this point, okay? Then you can see by the time we get towards later on this evening into the night, there's going to be some storms that are going to try to get going over here in western Arkansas. Some of these storms could be severe. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that potential, but the majority should be out towards the west as we get towards tomorrow here. Not tomorrow, today. Take this out a little bit further here. You can see some storms going up across western Arkansas, mainly a hail and wind threat, but we will watch these storms closely too. It should not pose too big of an issue until late, okay? And then you can see by the time we get towards 1 a.m., 2, look at your line of storms. This is what I'm meaning, folks, okay? If this cluster is going to make or break your event. If it pushes through the state, then it's going to leave some stable air here in Arkansas, and that will help you for tomorrow. If this cluster of storms goes into Missouri, and I'm really worried about that because you have a surging northward front. Your warm front surging north. So I'm really worried that this cluster may not be this far south. I'm worried that it may go into northern Arkansas and into southern Missouri, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind as we get towards tomorrow here. Now, here we are as we get towards 7 a.m. And this is what I'm meaning. You don't have much going on across the board, all right? So this is what I'm meaning across the area. Some of these thunderstorms are moving into Missouri because your warm front is surging northward. This is 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. You don't have much going on across the natural state at this time here. And also, I see those comments, guys. We're not forgetting anybody, okay? We're not forgetting anyone. I want to make this crystal clear. Nobody's forgotten about, okay? If we don't get to you, then be patient, but we're not forgetting about anybody, okay? Everybody's in the same boat for tomorrow, all right? So this is 7 a.m., but this is what I'm worried about, honestly. Warm front up here, not much going on tomorrow morning, okay? And then you can see by the time we get towards lunch, there's a lot of storms beginning to move in. So this is right around that lunch time frame here. A lot of storms beginning to move through, mainly a damaging wind threat, but we will have to watch for that isolated tornado potential as we get towards tomorrow. Now, I want to stress caution that this Futurecast is one run, it's one model, Okay, we have other models that have a completely different idea on what to expect for tomorrow. So that's why I'm urging you guys so much to have a plan ready to go for tomorrow. Don't just rely on the morning storms or anything like that, because if you went with this, there's not much going on tomorrow morning, and then you've got an unstable environment. Okay, then as we get towards 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you can see the line of storms just really racing across eastern Arkansas. You will have to watch this closely for not only the potential for a couple of tornadoes, but the damaging wind threat. Okay, this is going to be more of a damaging wind versus a tornado threat because of the line, and that still remains to be seen. We'll have to wait and see what happens with this, guys, but do not let your guard down just because the tornado threat is a lot lower. Okay, you don't need a tornado to take a severe threat seriously. You can take severe weather seriously with damaging winds, with hail, with flash flooding, because those threats mean just as much as of a tornado. Okay, so take this out a little bit further. You can see by 3 p.m. it's pushing across eastern Arkansas here. Now, guidance is back and forth with this. Okay, I've seen, I think the high-res NAM pushed a line through very early, and then had another round of storms kind of getting going across western Arkansas as we get towards tomorrow. Right now, it still remains to be seen. So far, guidance is literally all over the place. I mean, you've got one saying the line's going to come through. You've got another saying supercells. That's the reason why you don't have a moderate right now, because there's so much uncertainty on what we're going to see as we get towards tomorrow. Okay. Now, you go with this one. This gets out of here about 7 o'clock, but notice your frontal boundary itself is still draped out towards the west. Okay. You got some isolated cells that you're going to have to watch if you go with this as we get towards tomorrow. So you may have a second round coming in late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, into tomorrow night across the board here, because the frontal boundary is just dragging its feet coming through. And you can see storms over here in eastern Arkansas pushing through. This is all non-severe at this point, but you've got some severe thunderstorms starting to get up across western Arkansas by the time we get towards 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Right now, we'll have to wait and see, because before, guidance is still, in your day out, guidance is still all over the place at this point in terms of what to expect as we get towards tomorrow. But as I said before, the main threat for tomorrow, damaging winds, is standing out number one. Then number two, a couple of tornadoes, especially along that line. That's why I'm saying if a warning goes out tomorrow, you got to act quick. You got to be quick, because those tornadoes are going to be along the line. And as soon as that rotation starts getting going, you're not going to have a lot of time to react. Okay, so warning goes out, take it seriously, folks. Even if it's a severe thunderstorm warning, take it seriously, because damaging winds can be just as important as dealing with a tornado. And also, tomorrow, know your counties, know your cities. I cannot stress this enough, folks, because we're not going to be able to get to every single body tomorrow in terms of specific city and county. Know your cities, know your counties for tomorrow, okay? So that's all I have for right now in terms of the information-wise. This is the point that I'm going to start taking questions. If y'all have any questions, let me know. I'm going to start answering some questions for you guys at this point, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you now, if it's specific city or county questions, at this point, everybody needs to be on guard. Everybody needs to be on guard in terms of severe weather threat for tomorrow. That's the biggest thing I can tell you, because everybody's in the same boat, no matter where you are. You're a marginal risk in northwest Arkansas, or you are an enhanced risk in southern Arkansas. Everybody's in the same boat for severe weather for tomorrow. Have a plan ready to go across the board. Yes, we will be chasing. What does the embedded tornadoes mean? Okay, so let me take this back here. Okay, so let's go back to, let's say, 1 o'clock. All right, there's a lot of storms coming in, but with all those the southeast winds moving in, the helicity moving in, and stuff like that, you're gonna have to watch those little, what we call little kinks in the line here. So basically, it'll be little embedded areas of rotation along or just ahead of the line itself, and you'd have to watch for that isolated tornado potential for tomorrow, okay? The tornado potential is not going to be excessively high. It's just not going to be a big-time tornado outbreak for tomorrow, okay? This is not going to be an outbreak for tomorrow, but the damaging wind potential will definitely be there. The damaging wind potential will definitely be high for tomorrow, but the tornado threat at this point is lenient on what happens tomorrow morning, and then what happens with this storm mode as we get towards tomorrow afternoon at this current point here, okay? That's what we mean about that. It's just little rotations along the line, but I want to stress something, because I know everybody's really worried about the tornado threat. Don't focus on it too much, okay? The damaging wind threat is just as important as the tornado threat. I cannot stress that enough, guys. The damaging wind threat is just as important as a tornado, okay? So keep that in mind for tomorrow, all right? Take those severe thunderstorm warnings seriously. These winds are going to be 60 to 70 miles per hour moving through with this line. okay? So please keep that in mind. Don't just focus on straight the tornado threat. There's going to be a damaging wind threat with this as well, and the flooding threat with this at this point. And speaking of flooding, we are looking probably about a good 1 to 3 inches of rain. I saw that one comment earlier. About a good 1 to 3 inches of rain would be expected with this this line of storms that's moving through, and there could be some locally higher amounts. So flash warnings go out. Have a plan ready to go. Remember, turn around and do not drown at this point here, okay? So will the winds be the same as the ones getting the other night? So Renee, kind of yes. The lines of storm that came through the other night will be kind of similar to what you see tomorrow night. So this is one run. Model guidance is all over the place right now, okay? If a line doesn't develop, it's going to be supercells. That's where your tornado threat's going to be kind of lenient on at this point. Is it going to be a line, or is it going to be supercells? That question is still remaining at this current time here, okay? So I know a lot of people are kind of leaving, they're not getting your answer question, etc. That's fine. Just have a plan ready to go, okay? If I don't get to your question, the biggest thing I can tell you, have a plan ready to go for tomorrow here, okay? So Mina, timing-wise, you're going to be looking at 2 o'clock in the morning for this coming in, and then you're going to have a second round that's going to come in. As a matter of fact, let me take this back a little bit because I think it has slowed down, okay? So this one comes in at 2 o'clock in the morning now, so that's northwestern Arkansas. So Mina, we're looking right around 8, 9 o'clock in the morning over there in western Arkansas, all right? So that'll be pushed through first thing in the morning, and then you may have a second round that may get going tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, probably right around that 4 or 5 o'clock time frame over there in western Arkansas, okay? So will I know more about tonight? Hopefully, yes. Like I said, right now, guys, it's still all over the place. Sometimes you don't know until you're literally there. That's the biggest thing with guidance. You don't want to take it 100% because sometimes you don't know about it until you're literally right on top of the event. So I'm hoping to know more tonight with more data coming in, but said before, right now there's a lot of disagreement per the computer model guys. As a matter of fact, I'm going to attempt to try to get this up for you guys while y'all are still here and show you guys what I'm talking about in terms of the difference, because this is 1 p.m. tomorrow. If you were to go with our Futurecast at this point, it has a line kind of screaming through by this time, and then you can see some redevelopment over there in Oklahoma and in the western Arkansas. That's going to be the biggest thing for tomorrow here. But yes, Marie, great comment. Change batteries on the weather radio. That way you guys can stay alert on updates and stuff like that, guys. I cannot stress that enough. Take these storms seriously tomorrow. You do not need a tornado to take severe weather seriously, okay? Damaging winds, hail, flash flooding. I know they're not as significant as dealing with a tornado, but they can be just as bad, okay? Damaging winds can bring down trees, they can bring down power lines, etc., okay? So keep that in mind for tomorrow, all right? Damaging winds will be the number one threat, but the tornado threat is kind of lingering on what happens with this line of storms that's going to be coming through, okay? Stay with us all day long tomorrow. We'll keep you guys updated, okay? Up there in northwestern Arkansas tonight, we will watch those storms coming in. There may be an isolated tornado or two potential up there in northwestern Arkansas for tonight, but storms will be loud coming in, okay? Also, another thing, storms will be loud. That does not guarantee that it's severe, okay? So please keep that in mind for tomorrow. We don't mind answering questions, stuff like that, but you guys are going to have to be patient with us at this point, okay? So Pam, great comment. If a severe thunderstorm warning goes out, where do you go for your safe place? Should you go? Honestly, at this point, probably a good idea because it gets you away from the windows, gets you away from the exterior walls. Even with damaging winds, you don't want to be outdoors. You don't want to be near those exterior walls whenever you're dealing with a squall line coming through, okay? So just keep that in mind. Even if it's a severe thunderstorm warning, that'd probably be a good idea, you know, just because I said before, those embedded rotations along the line, tornado warning goes out, it's going to be quick. And I've already talked to Noah about this too, and our forecast team tomorrow. Tornado warning goes out, it's going to be quick, okay? I've told them too that any rotation that you see along the line, we're going to break in and go live because of the fact that any moment it can go to a warning, okay? So keep that in mind for tomorrow here. You got to react quick. This is not going to be something that you're going to have to go out and see or anything like that. You got to act quick, especially when you're dealing with storms along the line at this point here, okay? So let me see here, going over some, okay, so mainly for everybody that's asking for the specific city and county areas, I'm going to tell you guys this now. Everybody's in the same boat for tomorrow. Severe threats on the table for tomorrow for almost the entire state at this point. Marginal risk, northwestern Arkansas. The enhanced risk is in southern Arkansas at this point, okay? Keep that in mind for tomorrow. The severe threat is on the table for the natural states as we get towards tomorrow here. Have a plan ready to go across the board here, okay? So tonight's weather, mainly up there in northwestern Arkansas. A lot of storms going to be coming in. Damaging winds and hail, main threat. Isolated tornado 2 cannot be ruled out at this point. So that line that's coming in northwestern Arkansas, 9 o'clock, yes, we will have to watch and see if it's going to be severe or not. But at this point, I would say the damaging wind threat is going to be greater versus the tornado threat because there's a lot of storms that's coming in. But we'll let you guys know if anything's going to happen with that. And I've noticed something too, is your warm front is further north than expected. Your warm front wasn't supposed to make it here until late. So the one thing I want to stress about that is if your warm front is north already, then what's going to happen is it's going to force that line of storms to move into Missouri. If that happens, we're going to be dealing with another boat across the border. Okay, so let me see here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to let this loop. And I'm taking a look at guidance at this point as well, per the high-res dam here. So see if they're doing an accurate job with the warm front right now, because the warm front's kind of placed. Okay, so if you go with the high-res dam right now, it's going to be mainly central and south Arkansas at this point, which is understandable because it has the warm front kind of hanging around central Arkansas at this time here. I'm going to go over to the HR real quick. I'm going to switch this over as well, but I'm kind of leaving this up because some people are asking about timing here. Do we have a threat for Friday? No, we do not. The thunder and lightning is going to move in tomorrow morning northeastern Arkansas. It's going to be first thing in the morning if it occurs. I want to stress that this radar is not going to be 100% on the board, okay? This is meant to kind of show you guys what's going to be happening here, but this is first thing in the morning. As you can see, that goes through northeastern Arkansas. All right, then you get a break. Not much going on. And then you get the main line coming in as we get towards 2 to 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon here, okay? That's why we're saying have a plan ready to go no matter where you are across the board. Have a plan ready to go for tomorrow, okay? So tomorrow, it's going to be a main threat. Friday, I don't have anything on the board. This is pushing through. Friday should be really clear for us here in the natural state at this current time here, okay? So please keep that in mind here. So Stacy, great point. Prepare now so you know where you are ready for tomorrow. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. Know your counties, know your cities for tomorrow here, okay? Now, so before this is probably going to be the last live stream, by the way, until tomorrow. I believe that is our inbox. Let me go take a look at that. I believe that's just for probably over there in Oklahoma, but I can take a look at it real quick. Okay, yeah, it's over there in Oklahoma. The tornado watch that's over there in Oklahoma at this point. Okay, all right. Okay, this is new. All right, so we got some new information in from the Storm Prediction Center. Okay, so this is going to include southern Oklahoma, northern Texas, and southwestern Arkansas, increasing intensifying thunderstorm threat 4 to 6 p.m., including the potential of a few supercells posing a risk for large damaging hail and tornadoes. A few could be strong. That's mainly over there in Oklahoma. Trends are being watched for the possibility of an additional tornado watch to the east of the 176 one, which is over there in Oklahoma right now here. Okay, so we're going to watch that closely over there in southwestern Arkansas. All right, I'm going to try to get this out. This is new information that just came in. So bear with me for just a bit. Let me go ahead and switch this over. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to switch this over to this. Okay, so it's going to come up in just shortly. It just came up, but that's basically what they're saying at this time here. That's going to go for southern Oklahoma, northern Texas, and southwestern Arkansas. I'm working on getting that new information in at this point here. But you can see this is our Futurecast at this point. I'm letting it loop at this moment here because I'm kind of dealing with some new information right now here. Okay, so let me see what that measure was for. Okay, if you're going to load up for me, come on. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Stand by for me. If I go quiet for a second, that's because I got new information. Okay, so, all right, so that meso, that new meso that just came out from Storm Prediction Center does not include southwestern Arkansas. That's mainly for Oklahoma and northern Texas at this point. But I can't rule out probably a few counties over here in southwestern Arkansas kind of getting included with the tornado watch. But right now, the majority of that is in southern Oklahoma and northern Texas at this point. Okay, so right now it's a wait and see. I think the majority of this will be in southern Oklahoma along the Red River, but I can't rule out maybe a tornado watch for like the western and southwestern corner of Arkansas, maybe 1 or 2 counties over there. But that was just a meso that came in from the Storm Prediction Center at this point. So they're mainly talking about Oklahoma, but I wouldn't rule it out. Probably a few counties over here in southwestern Arkansas that may get randomly put under a tornado watch and at some point here. But majority of this should stay on Oklahoma right now, and we'll have to deal with it as we get towards late this afternoon, this evening here. Okay, so I'm gonna take a few more questions. So far, we've gone over everything we can in terms of severe threat for tomorrow. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back to it real quick. We got to give you guys a refresher on what to expect for tomorrow here. So main threat for tomorrow: damaging winds, large hail, a couple of tornadoes. Tonight, the main threat over here, a tornado or two, damaging winds, large hail, and flash flooding. Isolated severe potential exists for western Arkansas. Timing right now, 12 a.m. to 8 o'clock at this point, okay? So keep that in mind across the area here. So from midnight tonight all the way till tomorrow night, have that mindset and say, hey, we got severe weather on the table for today. Have a plan ready to go across the board here, all right? Damaging wind potential for tonight, as you can see, over here in western Arkansas. This is the area, the yellow area is where the greater threat for damaging winds is going to be. But don't let your guard down over here in the green area as well. Very low for the damaging wind threat, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with that line of storms that kind of pushes through, okay? Large hail shouldn't be too bad, mainly out in Oklahoma with the supercell threat. And then over here, the tornado threat from Fayetteville to Fort Smith to Clarksville to Danville to Mena down towards DeQueen. I would say watch out tonight. There may be a warning that may go out tonight or whatever, but the line of storms is going to push through. So just kind of keep this in mind at this point, okay? So this is for today and tomorrow. Let me make that crystal clear. This is for today and tomorrow, okay? We will be live. I promise you guys, we'll be live. We always are live whenever there's severe threats, okay? So we will be live tomorrow if there's any tornado warnings or anything like that, okay? We will be here. I know everybody's kind of worrying and stressing out and stuff about tomorrow. The biggest thing to counter storm anxiety is to have a plan ready to go. Okay, that's the biggest thing I can tell you. Have a plan ready to go for tomorrow. It's not a 100% guaranteed severe outbreak, but having a plan is better than not having a plan. Okay, have a plan ready to go. That's the best way to counter it. All right, so 7-4, western Arkansas for tonight. There's a tornado threat at this point. All right, and then you can see. All right, this is the timing: 12 a.m. northwestern Arkansas to 7 o'clock, and then 2 a.m. to 7. Now, this may be shifted a little bit per computer model guidance right now. I'll have to wait and see, but I think this is pretty good in terms of the whole generalized area from midnight tonight to about basically 8 o'clock in the morning, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. Mainly damaging winds and hail, but I can't rule out an isolated tornado or two over there in western Arkansas for tonight. And then tomorrow, big day, enhanced risk. From much of central and south Arkansas, the slight risk goes for those areas as well. Northwest Arkansas, you're in the marginal. Significant uncertainty remains on timing, as you just saw. Keep this in mind for tomorrow, okay? From midnight tonight to tomorrow night, have a plan ready to go. Stay safe, okay? A couple of tornadoes will be on the table. Damaging winds, large hail, and flash flooding will be the main threats for tomorrow, okay? So before, you do not need a significant threat for tornadoes to take severe weather seriously, okay? Don't rely on just that tornado, okay? Damaging winds will be there as well. You gotta respect those severe thunderstorm warnings as well, okay? Because they can be just as significant as dealing with a tornado warning as well, okay? So keep that in mind for tomorrow here. You're gonna see a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings, more than tornado warnings at this point. But as before, take those warnings seriously, even if severe or tornado. Take those warnings seriously for tomorrow, okay? Large hail and flash flooding will be on the table as well here for tomorrow. At this current time here, okay? So I know everybody's got travel plans for tomorrow. I said before, we're not expecting this thing to be a big time outbreak. Sandy, I'm gonna tell you this: if it does, if it does go moderate, it's gonna be for wind, almost guaranteed at this point. If it does go moderate, it's gonna be for wind, but I'm not banking on that. I think this is gonna be an enhanced event for us here in Arkansas. I think there's just too much uncertainty and too much of a conditional threat to go moderate. I don't see it. I don't see this going moderate right out of the gate at this point, but we'll see. If it does, it's going to be strictly wind driven. I promise you it's going to be wind driven at this point because of the line, but I don't foresee it going moderate at this point. I think the enhanced risk is more than enough for this event, given what we have on the table right now here, guys. Okay, so as I said before, I think that's all I got for you guys right now. Anybody with specific city and county questions, say before, the main threat for tomorrow: damaging winds, a couple of tornadoes will be on the table, large hail, and flash flooding will be on the table as well here for tomorrow. Severe weather is expected across much of the natural state. It's going to start first thing in the morning, and it's going to go all the way to tomorrow evening. We're going to have our full team. We're going to be ready to go. We'll keep you guys informed, okay? So let me see here. I'm going to double check and make sure I'm not missing anything here. Sandy Lee, I got both of your questions at this point. But as I said before, guys, don't bank on it going moderate because of the fact there's so much uncertainty on the storm mode. How much instability we're going to have, what happens with the morning rain. There's like a mountain of questions right now to keep this from going moderate, okay? But the enhanced is more than enough at this time. It's more than enough for this at this point, okay? So basically, Maddie, to giving you a heads up for Heber Springs, basically all day at this point, okay? You're going to have multiple rounds of storms. You got one that's going to come in tonight. You got one that's going to come in around 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And then you may have another one tomorrow evening. So basically all day. Have a plan ready to go all day. You're going to have storms going in and out all day. It's going to be multiple rounds. That's why I'm saying specific timing I can't do right now because there's too much uncertainty on the table for that at this point. But just across the state from midnight tonight to tomorrow night, have a plan ready to go. Stay safe. Stay with us. We'll be here. We'll keep you guys informed, okay? So, also, we will be live as well. Today, this is going to be the last live stream unless something happens tonight. But we'll have radar updates. We'll have updates from Storm Prediction Center. Any watches that get issued, we'll have to wait and see. Elizabeth, let's take a look at that real quick. The Super 4 guidance is all over the place with the instability. But we'll take a look at that real fast, okay? So, switch this over for just a bit, okay? So, this is tomorrow morning, okay? Now, I'm gonna urge you guys some caution with the HR. It's not doing well with the warm front at all. It's not doing well with the warm front right now because I'm looking at our temperature here in the weather center, and it's east-southeast. That means we're south of the warm front. Okay, so it's not doing well with the warm front placement right now here, but you can see what happens. Okay, so the instability, if you go with the HR, not too significant, but the 1,000 is more than enough. Okay, it's more than enough to support severe weather, but you can see where the majority will be from central to southern Arkansas and into eastern Arkansas at this point here. Okay, then you can see this pushes through. Then you may have another round that may try to get going over here in western Arkansas here, but at the moment it doesn't look to be as significant as it was before. But I want to urge a lot of caution that model guidance is kind of all over the place. So you can see, okay, so you go with this, okay, first thing in the morning. Okay, got some storms moving in. Southern Arkansas better play. All right, and you see a return flow kind of coming in late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and then it pushes out. Okay, so guidance is all over the table right now. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But the main thing I want to stress is to have a plan ready to go for tomorrow. And there's going to be a lot of wind shear in place with this as well here. Okay, so instability is something that we don't nail down until probably day one, because of the fact that there's a lot of things that need to go with it. If those storms go into Missouri, your instability is going to be much higher. But if your storms come here, your instability is going to be little to none, and you're not going to have too much of a severe threat for tomorrow, okay? So before, we'll keep you guys updated right here, your source for all things Arkansas weather.